We're sitting here on a cold fucking morning. I feel like I'm 150 years old. But last night we watched New Japan Destruction in Kobe, which is spelled like Kobe Bryant. Yeah, and it was a pretty good show. There were parts of it that I didn't like, and we'll talk about that. But for the most part, there wasn't any match that really pissed me off. So that in itself is a miracle because I'm an angry, angry little man. What did you think about this one?
I thought it was pretty good. I enjoyed it. I really did.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and start out with the bad. The announcers suck. Mm-hmm. Kevin Kelly desperately needs someone with some life in him to keep him exciting in any way, shape, or form. And the other guy, who I think his name was Mark Borseca, he would be like putting you or me in there as an announcer. It's probably less exciting. Because at
least we pop off, and if we're passionate about something, we start screaming.
Yeah, exactly.
He didn't even do that.
That's what I'm saying.
Wow.
It's like
He's so boring.
Exactly. At least you or I might have some emotion, but he was like really, really dull.
Really?
So that was the only really bad part I'm gonna knock on. But let's go on.
Let me have it for a minute.
What?
I hated the ones that were in the ring. You couldn't understand a damn thing.
Oh, that's right. What am I saying? The audio quality was horrible.
Jesus.
You're talking about the ring announcer, and
Yes.
It wasn't his fault. It was the fact that the audio was so bad you couldn't hear it, and they didn't put up any visuals. So if we get some of the names wrong on this, that's why. Because I couldn't hear anything, you couldn't hear anything. So I'm doing the best we can, and a lot of these guys we haven't seen before, even though we watched a few New Japan, because there was a lot of people that were not in previous ones. So if we get the names wrong, it's because we're Americans and our tongues don't work that way, and the audio is horrible. So there you go. So keep that in mind. So with that said, our first match, took me a while for them to understand the names because, again, the audio was so bad. And they never put up a little graphic or anything. It was a 10-minute time limit match, and they called it a Young Lions match. These are the guys that are in training. And it was Tsuji versus Uemura. Hopefully that's right. It was, they said they were limited to certain moves as part of a training. They had, what is it you said that the part I missed?
They had to meet certain basic maneuvers in order to even be able to come on the stage. I thought that was very interesting.
The announcer, Kelly, said something about that they had gone to a time limit draw every other match. Oh, and this is the part where I'm going to bury him again. So Tsuji puts Uemura in a Boston Crab. Kelly says that he submits, and then immediately after that he said it was a time limit draw. So there was no tap out. So I have to assume that it was a draw and that Kevin Kelly just screwed up. So there you go. It was really annoying because I couldn't tell what happened, and I'm enough of a nerd to I wanted to know whether it was a win or a draw.
Well, when he called that the guy submitted, we were both like, "What are you talking about?"
I thought maybe he submitted verbally
because he didn't make any kind of move.
And then, of course, they're speaking in Japanese, so you and I can't understand it. So, anyway. So that was annoying, but the match itself was okay.
It was okay.
It was just okay. Yeah, all the Young Lions are dressed in black trunks. Black everything. So they all kind of look like a bunch of Stone Cold Steve Austins, except for they obviously don't have the personality.
True.
But the wrestling was fine. So our second match of the evening was, I believe their names were Shota and Ren, two more Young Lions, versus Roppongi 3Ks, Sho and Yo. I have one line, which is Sho pins Ren with the Falcon Arrow. Because it was much like the first match, it was fine. The wrestling was fine, but I didn't think there was anything to speak of. Do you have anything more to say about it than I do?
Only thing I saw that I thought was interesting was the outfits they wore.
They did have nice
show with some really nice outfits. One of them had a silver and red, which is really cool. But the other one I didn't realize until you pointed it out.
It looks like Owen Hart's old outfit that he wore with the construction tape.
Mm-hmm. And it did have the construction. When they showed it closer, it had caution and all the little signs you see it at construction. And it was kind of a nod to Owen Hart, so I thought that was kind of cool.
Maybe. Either that or
if
just ripping him off.
Well, either or.
One man's homage, another man's ripoff.
There you go.
Who knows? Maybe it was an Owen Hart nod. But I just have to take it the worst possible way because that's the way I am.
Because it's more fun?
Yeah, exactly. It's more fun to rant off about something that you have no idea about.
Absolutely.
There you go. So the next match was a non-title match between the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champions El Desperado and Kanemaru. Couldn't read my own writing there for a second. Versus Liger and Tiger Mask. So Liger and Tiger Mask have both been wrestling probably longer than I've been alive. So it was the old dudes versus the young bloods. Pretty entertaining stuff. Mm-hmm. Immediately on the way down to the ramp, the young guys attacked Liger and Tiger Mask from behind, beat him up with before the bell even rang. They hit one of them with a chair, and it was good. It was just a good old cluster. And basically, it was just a pretty good match. I love the personalities of the older wrestlers, and the young guys were doing the athleticism, and I had a good time with this one. Mm-hmm. At the end of it, Tiger Mask pinned Kanemaru with a crucifix, the little roll-up, and it was a non-title match. After the match, Liger cut a promo and taunted them both and flexed his hips, and it was pretty funny.
And needless to say, the crowd was behind the masks.
Oh yeah,
strongly behind the masks. It was a good match. It was nice to see.
They did get some heat from attacking them from behind at the beginning.
Oh yeah, it was pretty fun.
Yeah, that one was fun. Not a whole lot else to say about it, but a fun match. So the next match was a whole bunch of people that I haven't seen before, and only a couple I actually knew. So this is the best I could get out of the names. Nakanishi, Yuji Nagata, Kojima, and Kenza versus Yoshida, Taguchi, Hanma, and Makabe. And I have a note here. No visuals, bad audio still. At the end of the match, Yuji Nagata won with a Saito suplex on Yoshida, which he did into a bridging pin, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it was.
This was a pretty good match, but it was 8 men, so there was a lot of crap going on. There was one young guy in there, and I actually didn't write down which one was the younger dude. I think it was Yoshida. He was 25 years old, and everybody else in the match was probably 40 plus. At least they looked it anyway.
Geriatric club, man.
Yeah, that's right, dude. That's what you put in there. But I mean, they were good wrestlers. It was a fun match. It's just it was all kinds of guys in and out all over the place as you'd expect from 8 man. That's one thing I've noticed from watching these New Japan shows. They really love the tag matches. There's a lot of them. It's not a bad thing necessarily. It's just interesting.
Lots of trash talking, yelling, pretty passionate. I mean, they were all making all kinds of crazy.
I've noticed that the
noises.
older Japanese wrestlers are a lot more vocal than the younger ones.
Makes me wonder if they're being trained different.
I don't know.
Then they had this one guy that had on the back of his tights, he had funky
weapon. Yeah.
And so he kept hitting him with his butt or his hips and.
Oh, you want because I commented
yes,
that if he
I thought it was funny.
Yeah, I said that if it was the ass bump, but if he did it, it was the running ass bump if he did it when he was running, just like Umaga.
Running ass of doom.
Oh, that's right. I said the running ass of doom.
I thought that was awesome. It's funny.
And that's what it was from Umaga, but you got an ass like that, you know it's gonna hurt.
God, yeah.
And it looked like he snapped their necks back when he hit it. It was beautiful.
It was awesome. I enjoyed that part. I thought it was funny.
But
I got great entertainment out of it.
Yeah, we entertain ourselves watching these shows. Sometimes I wonder. The only thing is, I wouldn't record us watching it because sometimes we say some shit that's too wild even for YouTube.
It's off color, man. You can't watch that shit.
Yeah,
You can't listen to that stuff.
I mean, you could come. Yeah, so.
It'd be bleep, bleep,
Yep.
bleep, bleep, bleep.
I need to find out how to edit and put a curse, bleep the curse words and put in just ridiculous shit. Oh well. Anyway, on to the next match. So we've got Davey Boy Jr. and the Stink Master, Lance Archer. That's what we called him because he looks like the most dirty human being on earth.
Got his pants up and standing in the corner with no one in him.
Yep, and his hair looks like it hasn't been washed in about 2 years.
Ooh.
Wrestling was fine, but oh my god, he looked gross. And they were facing they called them the Super Best Friends. Like South Park-esque. Trent Beretta and Chucky T. They would hold hands and all kinds of ridiculous.
Smile at each other.
And these were supposed to be the faces.
Oh my god.
That made me want to punch them.
I wanted to hurt them.
Yes. So I was rooting for. And Davey Boy and Archer are called the Killer Elite Squad. Did you catch that?
Yeah, I caught that.
Kind of stupid, but nah. Anyway. So it was just a typical tag match until we got near the end. They hit the heart attack. Killer Elite Squad hit the heart attack on Beretta, but he kicked out of that after a few seconds, and then he beat them both 2-on-1. Trent Beretta, the guy who was a jobber in the WWE, long, tall, skinny dude, but he beats up these two big bruisers 2-on-1 and rolls up the Archer after he took their double powerbomb finisher. He just rolls the guy up and pins him. And I also put Stank Master kills the Ring Boys after the match.
Yeah, he didn't even have to hit him. All he did was raise his arm up.
Yeah, just dropped over dead. But this was probably the match I enjoyed the least on the show.
Yeah, me too. I just think it's a crime to make the wrestlers wrestle with someone who's so disgusting. I mean, it's like abuse. Can you imagine? You know, they stink everywhere, then they put their nasty, stinky, sweaty self on you on top of that. Son of a bitch. That's
Stone Cold was talking about that on one podcast, how he really did not like wrestling the guys who are really just disgusting like that.
I don't know how they can stand themselves. Maybe they can't smell.
Oh, God. No sense of smell.
Oh, well.
But,
moving on.
Yeah, this was not
There we go. Another stinkweed. Dirty hair.
Oh, yeah, but at least the rest of them doesn't look disgusting, too. So we had Chaos, which was Jay White, Will Ospreay, and Yoshihashi, versus Juice Robinson, Dave Finlay, which is Fit's son, and I could not understand him. I think they said his name was Hanare, but he was doing the Samoan gimmick. I'm assuming he was Samoan, but he was doing his best impression of Umaga. And I'm sorry, he's just not Umaga.
No, not a good impression.
I mean, it wasn't that he was bad, it's just that when you try to imitate somebody else and you just aren't as good as they are, it shows.
Oh, yeah.
That's all I'm going to say about that as far as that goes. But it wasn't. It didn't feel like that was that long a match.
No, it was pretty short.
And basically, it was just a story match to get over the dissension between White and Yoshihashi. Because at the end of the match, White's in the ring and he hits Yoshihashi by accident, but he still manages to overcome the other side and win with his finishing move. And he spends the rest of it trash talking them. Now, what was our official Jay White hair flip count for this evening?
Just 9 because he wasn't in the match that much.
Yeah, the 9th one was right as the bell was ringing, so you could count it at 8 if you were really strict about it having to be during the match. You know, but still, it's one of our lowest Jay White hair flip counts ever. Mm-hmm. So it's a staple now. We got to keep it, but it was okay. The match was fine, but it was more just about dissension in ranks, and that would continue on later on. But
and stupid crap by Juice Finlay.
Juice and Finlay were just goofing around.
Oh my God.
They were just goofing around. But it was nothing to speak of, but it wasn't horrible either. Just I will say begrudgingly that White appears to be getting better in the ring. I haven't seen him botch the last few matches or anything.
That's true. I just dislike him so on a whole that I can't really see.
I don't think he really fits his gimmick that well, but whatever.
When he talks, he's not.
He's got that big Australian accent too. It makes it sound it's a little weird hearing him try to be menacing with that thick Australian accent. Now, I'm sure it could be done, but he just doesn't.
No, he doesn't have it.
He doesn't
Maybe
sound
with
intimidating.
More practice, but I don't know.
Let me see if I can do this. I'm going to kill you there, governor. Is that bad? That's probably pretty bad,
That's
right?
pretty bad.
Yeah,
but
anyway,
not as bad as him.
But still about as level of fear-inducing as you would get from Jay White.
I think that's it. When he does his line,
he's just like talking.
There's no menace behind him.
No, it's about, you can only be so scary when you sound like that.
I don't know. I think I'm scarier than him if he pissed me off.
It's probably true. Little people are more terrifying in their own way when they just get more angry.
Dynamite.
Yep. All right, so next one was another tag match, 6-man tag, between one of our favorite lunatics, Minoru Suzuki, and his team, which I finally caught it, is called Suzuki-gun, which I thought was funny.
It's funny.
I'm not sure what that means, but it's spelled like gun, Suzuki-gun. But anyway, it was Suzuki, Taka, and Zack Sabre Jr. versus Tetsuya Naito, Sonata, and Evil, and of course they represent Los Ingobernables de Japón.
Oh, they're awesome.
Yeah, they're a lot of fun. Sonata and Evil come out in these ridiculous get-ups. Evil's dressed up like he's old school Lord of Darkness, the Undertaker. And Sonata's got like a big skull on his mask on. And then Naito comes out dressed casually in a baseball cap and a hoodie. Like me when I go out and I don't give a crap at all. Except for Naito is like, he either dresses totally casual or in a suit. That's it. He doesn't have any in-betweens.
I think it's his way of flicking off.
Yeah. Oh, he is like the Japanese version of DX Shawn Michaels. He just does not give any fucks about anything. Mm-hmm. Does not care And he's always taunting and being a complete jackass.
And
That's why we like him. And he's really,
talented.
just like Sean.
Not just in his delivery and his stage stuff, but in his actual moves, he's very talented.
All right. So the match itself was the best one of the night so far. Just a lot of entertainment. Taka Michinoku spent almost all of his time in the ring trying to gouge everybody's eyes out. That's why I have Master of the Eye Gouge.
That's right.
Suzuki somehow did not get disqualified despite taking Naito on the outside, hitting him with a chair and tossing him into the barrier. And then Evil, at the end of it all, Evil ended up pinning Taka Michinoku with an STO. So Suzuki, as always, only gave a crap about beating up people. He does not care about winning, losing. None of that matters as long as he gets to beat up whoever.
He centers that mostly on.
It was Naito. He didn't care about the others.
He doesn't care about getting DQ'd or counted. I just want to beat the shit out of him.
Yeah, his gimmick is he's a complete lunatic who likes inflicting pain.
Yeah.
Which is why we like him.
Yep, it was a good
Reminds
match.
me of old school Kane, although he's not big like Kane. He's he does have the same demeanor, just a vicious psychopath.
Awesome.
Yeah, and Naito, of course, as we've already said, so it was a pretty good match. At the end of the match, Suzuki beat up the ring boys with a chair, and then on the way back to the back, Naito was like, well, if he's going to beat him up, I might as well kick him a few times. So he kicked him and stomped him and went on to the back. So basically, you've got two entertaining heels going off against each other, but everybody loves Naito in New Japan. So he may not he's probably more of a tweener. He's basically a heel that everybody loves.
Yep.
So that was fun. Good 6-man. The next thing on our card was the junior heavyweight tournament match. They said this was the semifinals. I didn't catch that because they said finals, then semifinals, and they talked about the tournament, and the announcers just rambled on. And it was I tried to tune them out a lot because it was like a lot like watching WWE where they would stumble and bumble and you wouldn't really get anything out of it. Anyway, the match was against Bushi and Kushida. Wasn't what I was expecting, but it was still pretty good because those two are more noted for high flying. And this match was a lot of groundwork and submissions, which I like, so I was okay with it. It's just, you go in expecting one thing. It would be like if you went in watching like an old Benoit Angle match and they started brawling instead of wrestling. It's like, it's still not bad, but it's just not what you're expecting.
A lot of contortionist moves.
I had to note out one particular spot in the match, which is where Bushi did a suicide dive and Kushida took like a piece of, like he got hit, but then he immediately rolled over and turned it into an arm breaker on the outside. Really, really cool spot. And Kushida was breaking out all kinds of weird submissions that I could not really describe even if I wanted to. At the end of the match, Bushi distracted the ref, misted Kushida in the face, and did a backslide to try to pin him. But Kushida hit two of his finishers, which he calls Back to the Future, and then pinned him. And it's basically, if I had to describe it, it's kind of like it's basically a front suplex into kind of like a cradle pile driver kind of thing. It's hard to describe. You'd have to see it. It's really weird. But fun match. Not what I was expecting, but still pretty good. What'd you think?
I thought it was a really good match. It was not what I expected, but it was fun to watch, and they pulled out a lot of submissions that I hadn't seen in a while, and their moves were smooth, no mistakes, no botches. I love the backcracker on the apron. Man, that was deadly looking.
That looked like it hurt both of them.
Oh, God, yeah. And then the other thing was when Fushi strangles Kushida with his T-shirt. Bushi. It cracked me up.
Oh, yeah, it's always
so
good.
Old school.
Yeah, it's always good to see innovative cheating.
Something different.
Yeah. And then we get to the main event.
Yeah,
the evening, which by far was the best match in the show. It was Kazuchika Okada versus Tanahashi with a title shot on the line for the Tokyo Dome, which is their big show. Was at the Wrestle Kingdom.
Right.
That's their big show at the Tokyo Dome. It's like the WrestleMania for New Japan, for anybody that doesn't watch. Started out a little slow. Lots of psychology in this match. It was like watching an old school 80s match except for with more athleticism. So it was different to see because I'm not used to that in New Japan. I'd say that most of their matches are more about athleticism and less about psychology, so this was a welcome change.
Mm-hmm.
Crowd was just red hot for it. They love Tanahashi, and Okada, as he worked more and more heelishly through the match, he was getting more and more boos. Because the story of the match is Okada had always beat Tanahashi, and Tanahashi had not been able to beat him since Okada had become a star, basically.
Right.
And Tanahashi has recovered from injuries. He's the older guy, and he wants redemption. He wants to beat Okada, or he feels he doesn't deserve that title match against Omega at Tokyo Dome. So, a lot of story, a lot more so than I'm used to. They had a long promo package before, but it was all in Japanese. So it was kind of, well, not all, but there were like very little in English. So I just have one thing to say about New Japan. If you really want to expand into the American market, have some American subtitles or some kind of visuals. It doesn't have to be anything big, because you've got a bunch of rabid fans over here as it is, but at least help us know what's going on. That's all I can say.
You know, it's not so bad when you've got promo packages from guys who are very passionate, so you know that they're trash talking just by the tone and the set of their face. But some of them are so flat, it's like, are they mad? Are they angry? What the hell are they saying? You know, so...
I don't know!
Yeah, we could be saying whatever, you know, you just can't tell. So I agree, it would be a real help if they would do something.
Now, if you didn't care about the English audience, that's fine. I'm not trying to be the typical entitled American, but I'm just saying, if you want to branch out, help us know what's going on. Mm-hmm. I mean, if it's Jericho or Omega talking, it's in English, so it's fine. But, you know, it would be nice to know what's going on without having to learn Japanese. But,
or you could actually have announcers who do their damn job and tell you what's going on.
They don't know either. But yes, that would actually work too.
They have a summary before anything starts of what's going to be said and how it's going to go.
Depends on the company. WWE does that, but some companies don't.
I find it hard to believe that they don't have some idea. Like, they don't have an idea of what's going to be said in the promos or what the storyline is behind it. They announce it every damn week. How could you not know something?
I don't know. So to sum up, the announcers suck, but the match itself was really good. So basically, Okada worked Tanahashi's supposedly injured knee, and they worked back and forth the whole match. They went back, they kicked out of each other's finishers, and finally, at the end, Tanahashi hits 3 frog splashes, which he calls the high fly flow, and pins Okada to keep his title shot. And then there's a lot of hullabaloo after the match. Jay White comes down, beats up both the tired men, and Gato comes out pretending like he's going to help, but then turns on Okada. Oh, and there was also Yoshihashi run in to help, but he fell down on his way to the ring, and I don't know if he busted open intentionally or if it was just an accident, but it was really awkward looking. But the real important thing was White and Gato turning on Okada and basically assuming control of chaos, I guess. Mm-hmm. So it was more about the fanfare at the end as far as that goes. And White is taking on Tanahashi in the next pay-per-view, so to see if he can take the title shot away from him. What are you reaching for? You look like somebody had, shooting off something behind you or something.
No, just a pencil.
Gotta have that pencil. Got it.
So I can make my notes here.
Notes. I hate Jay White. I hope he gets stabbed. Something like that?
Something along those lines, yes.
Yeah. I know that's a bit strong, but still. I know how you feel about these guys sometimes. You get a little too passionate about it.
He gets on my nerves. I'm like, dude, you don't even belong there.
Yeah, he's not one of my favorites either.
But you never know. They may surprise us in a...
I have seen it.
Yes,
I have seen times where people who I thought were crap eventually turned out to be pretty good. Like originally when I was watching, I never thought Triple H was that good when he was in that stupid Blue Blood gimmick.
Oh, God, that was dumb.
But then when he actually got a decent gimmick, he was fine.
Mm-hmm.
So you never know.
You never know. And then there are those that they give them the world's worst damn gimmick and they make it good.
Yeah, like Umaga.
Yeah, it's amazing. He was awesome.
So overall, the show was pretty good. It's not the main event was really truly memorable, but it was a good overall show and worth to watch. I don't have anything else to say. What, you got any final comments?
No, I think it was good, and if you watch it, you'll enjoy it.
All right, so that was another New Japan show. This one was much better than the previous one, and we'll try to keep following this story arc to see where it goes. So for everybody who's watching, and a shout out to our buddy Jose again, because I've I don't always say it, but he's always helping us out and commenting and basically just palling around with us. So anyway, take care, everybody, and we'll see you next time. And we'll hopefully try to get these out faster so we can get caught up and be more current with the product.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Take care.